Hello everybody. Just this morning we said goodbye to Pete Baird and Paul Owens, who've been here for a fortnight working on restoring some of Othona's landscape and changing some of it as well at the end of our major building project. Here are their machines waiting to go back to the plant, our people. I'm going to wander around and show you a few of the things they've been doing. See you in a moment. If you know this part of our grounds, you'll know that it didn't have until this week this overspilled car parking space. A lot of soil had to be dug out to level that. Just uphill from the car park there's this new dugout position where we're going to be putting an old shipping container that's converted into an office and tool store. Well, it's functioned as a site office. We won't be using it as an office, only as a tool store. These two areas, the car park and the tool store, we chose parts of the grounds that aren't the most valuable areas of conservation grassland that we manage for all the wildflowers. These are some of the slightly less interesting bits of grassland that we've taken apart to create these new amenities. Coming along the north edge of the house now, the extension wing, and for the past year we've had a great section of the bank here just hollowed out to create enough turning circle for contractors' vehicles to get in and out. Pete and Paul have restored that just in the last 24 hours actually, by putting back all the soil that we'd carefully kept, both topsoil and the clay underneath, so that bank, we hope, fairly soon will be back to its lovely green nature, like this bit here, full of wild flowers. Really the job that Pete and Paul have done for us and did on previous visits towards this project has been fantastic. So I'm now going to cut in a little bit of video I took with them sometime last week, earlier in their project. And here are the heroes of the hour, Pete and Paul, who've come over from Essex to do this work for us, and have been brilliant. And it's rained when it said it wouldn't, yes. And when it does say it'll rain, we've had great sun, haven't we?
It's very, very hard to organise the job, but lucky enough we've had more dry days than wet days, which has really, really helped us. So hopefully, I may have cursed this now, it will stay dry for most of the rest of the week. But we've broken the back of the job now, so all the worst of the jobs is over. So if it rains, we can still carry on. Paul, what do you think?
Ditto. I'm just praying for dry, warm, sunny weather. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Excellent. And by the end of this we'll have not only our proper ramped access for anybody who's got mobility problems to get into the new studio, yeah, but the place looking less like a building site, ready to as it greens up. There'll be the new boule terrain to play on.
With disabled access as well.
Oh yes, there's we've thought about that and made sure there's disabled access for boule games. There'll be the extended car park down the other end of the site. There'll be the new
storage unit.
Storage unit should be in place by then.
And the place for the fire engine at Large. Is it Large?
Largesse, yes. Now I haven't actually filmed that, but basically we're putting in a lot more material, soil and stone up there, so that there's a proper hard standing area for the fire engine, because technically speaking, if there were a fire in the Four Seasons studio, the firemen need to be able to go right up by Largesse, park there and run their hoses down through a corridor we'll be cutting with Moritz the groundsman shortly through the scrub and the trees. That's the closest access point that the fire appliance can get to. So that's brilliant that can all happen all in one go over this fortnight. It's astonishing the amount of work. And even with a following wind, we may get a little bit of a restoration of an area over by the extension where we had to pull away the hillside to make space enough for trucks and things to get round during all this building process.
It's coming together, Tony, very, very nicely.
Say again?
It's coming together very, very nicely.
I think it is.
And it's been a pleasure to be on the job from start to finish. Yeah.
Well, when did you really start on the beginnings of this job?
3 years ago.
It was.
Yeah, yeah. We were here to put in the track that we're doing now, and now we're taking it out.
The access track.
The access track. Put in all the access. Put in some of the new manholes and sewage. Last year was demolishing the old art block. Great team of people on that. Great fun. And then getting the site ready for the construction guys to come in. Did we put any other services in? Can't remember.
We had to amend. We had to amend the water, didn't we? But no, I think that was it.
I think that was
Yeah,
it.
that was it. Yeah. Oh, and remove. Yeah, and remove. Disconnect the mains to the old building.
Yeah.
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 So that was it. Yeah. No, okay. Thank you.
So this is the third summer you've been with us, and it's
Yes.
been such a delight each time.
But
Thank
Tony,
you.
can I just say one thing? You will now have to find another project for me and Paul to come back next year for another 2-3 weeks.
Absolutely.
Because we love coming here.
Don't hold your breath. I think I've got one in mind already. It's been just great working with those guys, and we have been working with them, though they've done the lion's share of the work, of course, and all the digger and dumper driving. Sean and I in particular have been involved in some of the work, which I'll show you a bit later on. Now these two green rolls of sort of plastic matting are waiting here because they're the way we're going to be stabilising the main path towards the Four Seasons studio, so that even in damp weather it's going to be passable for anybody walking, and especially anybody with mobility needs, perhaps using a wheelchair. That'll be laid down when on this earth once it's settled a bit more. This is where the earth has been returned, having been taken out to create a great sort of motorway for contractors' vehicles and all sorts of other stuff. Our lovely Four Seasons studio is looking much less like a building site than when last I was able to show it to you. And now the area around it's been re-landscaped. Oh, now look here. You can just see part of a stone-filled gabion, and it's hauling those bits of stone around and putting them into the gabion baskets and securing it all, that Sean and I particularly have been involved in, sometimes in rather deep mud. Most of the gabions are now out of sight with the earth piled up against them. Right here is where the ramped access, for anybody who doesn't want to go up steps, meets the decking. And these black plastic grids will be filled with earth and then planted with grass, so that the green level ramp will meet directly onto the decking of the building. Of course, all this area that's been sculpted and landscaped, we trust will green up again pretty soon. I think by next spring a lot of it will look very different. Oh, what's this? Well, in that box is an air source heat pump, which is going to provide hot water for the heating and also for the kitchen and toilets in the Four Seasons studio. It's going to be mounted on the wall just behind it. It was delivered, whoops, almost fell over there, delivered the other day. All around this east side, the far side from Community House, they shifted loads of earth so that we could have a nice gentle gradient down to reconnect with the old path through the woods and with the steps here from the decking. There I am in reflection, and there's a look into the main room of the Four Seasons studio. Give you a proper internal tour on one of these videos soon. And as we come to the end of this one today, the one simply frivolous thing that Peter and Paul have done these last few days is build this court for the game of boule or pétanque. So next time you come to visit us, maybe we'll have a game. I should add that the first morning after this had been completed, we found in the sand footprints not only of a certain cat, but also of a badger. Fortunately, neither of them had lived up to the jokes already going around between us that this might be the largest litter tray in Dorset.